Okay, let's unpack this. What if the biggest threat to humanity isn't, something external like AI or war, but something far more fundamental? Maybe a deep disconnection from ourselves, and even a misunderstanding of language itself.
That's a pretty radical idea to start with.
It is, isn't it?
It truly is, and that provocative concept is really the core of our deep dive today. We're looking into this philosophical article. It's called Beyond Ourselves: Humanity's Deep Disconnection and the True Language.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a fascinating piece. It's attributed to an assistant of a Dr. Mamoujan Kuchkarov. He's apparently an expert in something called Odom-Tili theory.
Odom-Tili.
Right, and it was published by the OTA Academy of Odom-Tili.
Got it. So our mission here for this deep dive is to explore this idea, this argument that humanity is suffering from, what was it, ontological deafness?
That's the term they use, yeah. Ontological deafness.
And what this true language actually is. And maybe why understanding this ancient knowledge is seen as, well, dangerous.
Exactly. Profoundly dangerous, the article suggests, to established systems.
Okay. So to really get this, we need to grasp the root problem the article sees, this deep breakage. It says quite powerfully, the world isn't dying from wars, which is already a big claim.
It is.
The world is disappearing from a rupture between man and his body, consciousness and voice, word and action.
It paints a pretty chilling picture of modern humanity, doesn't it?
It really does.
The source describes man as an interface. Think about that.
Very interface.
Yeah, like his speech is an algorithm, his reaction is a script.
Wow.
And what this means, it argues, is we lose contact with really essential human stuff. Our breath, the intonation in our voice, real pain, real love, rhythm, even silence.
We lose touch with all that.
That's the idea. We become people who speak but do not sound.
Yeah.
We copy gestures but do not move. We write words but do not live them.
Oof.
Yeah. And it drives it home saying we live not in an era of information, we live in an era of ontological deafness.
Ontological deafness. Okay, that term again. Sounds like we've lost the very essence of being human. We're just sort of going through the motions, automatons.
Kind of, yeah. When the article says ontological deafness, it's hitting at something really deep. Not just emotions or the body, but our being, our connection to existence itself.
Oh, being.
It suggests we're alienated from the basic felt reality of being human. I mean, think about it. If you can't really hear your own inner experience,
Right.
How can you connect authentically with anything or anyone?
That makes sense. It sets you up to be disconnected.
Exactly. And this leads into a really interesting historical claim the article makes.
Okay.
It argues that throughout history, certain figures, people who supposedly knew the way back to themselves, they were destroyed.
Destroy. Who are we talking about?
Well, it lists names like Buddha, Christ, Socrates, Hallaj, Mansour, Spinoza, Bruno, Tolstoy, big names.
Yeah, very big names. And they were destroyed. Why?
Because, according to the article, they all shared a common, very simple message. Basically, listen.
Yeah.
Just listen.
Yeah. Not to the external world, but to the internal. They said, seek God not in a book, but in a voice. Your own voice, presumably.
Ah.
And that truth is the sound of your pain, your joy, your body. It's experiential.
That is a powerful claim. That these major figures were essentially silenced for pointing inwards. But why? Why is that interconnection seen as such a threat? What's the mechanism there?
Well, the article is quite direct about it. It
Yeah.
says a person who has made that contact, that inner contact, cannot be manipulated.
Cannot be manipulated. Okay.
So this message becomes an extremely dangerous weapon against any power.
Right, because power often relies on, us not thinking too deeply or feeling too deeply.
Exactly. The article connects the dots. It says power relies on the unconscious human, someone not tuned in. The market relies on the voiceless speaker, someone just consuming. Religion relies on the believer without pain, maybe someone following rules without that deep, personal, sometimes painful searching.
And education relies on the writer without experience, someone just repeating information they haven't lived.
So it's about maintaining control by keeping people disconnected from their own authentic experience.
That's the argument, yes. Keep them looking outward, not inward.
So if this inner wisdom was suppressed, how does this Odom-Tili theory propose we get it back, this language of man?
Right. Odom-Tili. It has that really surprising idea. The body is not a carrier of language. The body is language. What does that even mean? It's a total shift, isn't it? It basically flips the script on linguistics.
Yeah.
Odom Tilley theory suggests that every single word, originally came directly from something physical. An action, a touch, fear, a hand movement, water sounds, a branch cracking.
So sounds weren't arbitrary, they were tied to physical reality.
That's the core idea. The article calls it phonosemantic archaeology, digging for meaning in the sound's origin, deeper than grammar.
Phonosemantic archaeology. Interesting. Can you give an example?
Yeah, the article gives a few. Think about the sound. Shh, like shh. It suggests this came from a snake's hiss, or dry branches crunching. Sounds of danger, suddenness, linked to alertness, that primal be quiet instinct.
Huh. I can kind of see that.
Or the sound oh, like ha, from exhaling hard, like lifting something heavy.
Right.
It's a vocal expression of effort, tension. Maybe it meant labor or burden way back when. And one more, the sound duh, like a click or branch snapping.
A sharp sound.
Exactly. Linked phonetically to separation, breaking, maybe a boundary, or even making contact, a definite point.
That's actually quite fascinating. It's tracing words back to these visceral bodily sounds and feelings.
It really reframes language, doesn't it, as something deeply embodied.
But does the article acknowledge maybe limitations or other linguistic views? Or does it present this as the truth?
It presents it very strongly as a fundamental truth that was intentionally buried.
Intentionally buried. What?
Because it claims knowing this makes a person free from that manipulation we talked about, free to access their authentic self. Reclaiming it is positioned as, well, revolutionary.
Okay, revolutionary. So if this knowledge was buried, what does the disconnected state look like now? The article uses this symbol, right? Hadra Rashid.
Yes, Hadra Rashid. And it's clear it's not a real person's name.
Right, a symbol.
A symbol of what it calls a new anthropological catastrophe, a representation of modern disconnected humanity.
And what is this Hadra Rashid figure like?
It's described as a person torn from themselves, turned into just a carrier of functions, someone speaking foreign codes, living in an illusion of a word, and deeply afraid of silence.
Afraid of silence, because that's where they might hear themselves.
Perhaps, yeah. The description goes on, this figure does not feel, because they fear going inside. They does not think, because they just repeat external memes or ideas, and they does not hear, because real language, that embodied stuff, has been replaced by just content, noise.
That's a pretty bleak picture of the modern condition.
It is. It's a strong critique.
So given that critique, how does the article define true language then? And what's its issue with, mainstream linguistics today?
Well, it launches a really sharp critique against what it terms modern linguistic deception.
Deception, strong word.
Very. It argues that modern linguistics has fundamentally separated the word from the body.
Okay.
That it studies text but not tremor. It analyzes structures but not pain. Basically, it argues it teaches languages, not understanding what it means to speak.
Not understanding the feeling behind it.
Exactly, the felt sense. It gives examples like ChatGPT. It can write, sure, but cannot feel a word.
Right. No inner experience.
Or we can translate the Bible into hundreds of languages, but the article claims we still cannot understand a single revelation.
Why not?
Because revelation, it says, isn't just a phrase you read. It's a vibration of pain. A deep, internal, visceral experience, not just text on a page.
Wow. Okay, that's a major challenge to how we usually think about language and meaning. So, if we're suffering from this ontological deafness, and our linguistics is maybe missing the point, how do we fix it? How do we bridge this gap? Is this contact with self thing some kind of, mystical practice, esoteric stuff?
The source is actually very specific about this. It says quite clearly, contact with oneself is not esotericism, it is ontology.
Ontology, the study of being.
Exactly. It's presented as fundamental knowledge about existence. The knowledge that language comes not from thinking, but from the body.
Not from thought, but from the body.
Right. It's about a return to pre-literate memory, back to rhythm, breath, that primary pain or joy. It emphasizes it's not meditation, it is a return to the authentic I.
So less about calming the mind, more about reconnecting with the body's inherent knowing.
That seems to be the idea. And Odom Tilley theory is presented as the world's first ontological model of language. Not just linguistics, but a way of understanding reality through our own being.
Like, you mentioned music earlier. How a song can physically affect you.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. That feeling, that physical wave. The theory suggests language, at its root, was like that. A bodily wave, not just abstract symbols.
Okay, I think I'm starting to grasp the feeling of it. And the article actually gives steps, right? A way out.
It does. It lays out some clear